Hey everyone, it's Jordan, and today I'm going to be doing the Romance Journey book tag. So I saw this book tag popped up in Heather from Bookables channel, which I'll link down below so you guys can check it out, and I'll link the original video down below if I can find it. And it's basically a book tag relating to people's journeys on reading romance, and I've read romance for many years, and I've been starting to read more because my taste has grown over the years, so I thought I'd talk about my reading romance journey. So let's get to the tag. So the first question is about how old were you when you started reading romance, and do you remember the first romance you read? So basically, I've read like young adult romances since I was in high school, but the first adult romance that I ever read, I was 16 at the time, which is The Lucky One by Nicholas Sparks. Yeah, I know, like, some people have mixed feelings towards Nicholas Sparks books, but he's still one of my favorite romance authors, and I'm still trying to read other books of his that I haven't read yet. So yeah, this was the very first one that I've read back in my junior year of high school. And the second question is, do you deliberately seeking out romance, or did you stumble upon it, and how? I honestly have stumbled upon it. I know I've liked romance in movies like since I was little, and I've kind of like just been like I haven't read a lot of romance books when I was younger, so I kind of stumbled upon it because of my love for romance movies and all that. So I didn't start reading romance until I was in high school, like I mentioned. So yeah, that was how I stumbled upon romance. And the next question is, did you start with traditional published or indie, and has it switched? I would say traditionally published, but I know I've been looking into like more independent published books just because there's not a lot out there that are getting enough love, but I haven't found the one that I'm interested in yet. But I do really gravitate towards some indie published, trying to find indie published books, but I've read mostly traditionally published books, so I would go either way with my romances. And the next question is, what was a romance trope you were afraid to try but end up loving? I would say enemies to lovers, just because I feel like it kind of feels weird that you are enemies with someone and then you just fall in love with them. But of course, I've started to like that trope when I got older. Like when I was younger, I didn't like the idea of it, but then I just end up liking it over time. So yeah, that was like the only romance trope that I could think of that I was afraid to try but end up loving right later on. And the next question is there a romance book you read early on in your journey that you would write differently today? I honestly don't know, because I know I reread The Lucky One like a couple years ago, and I still love it, but I know that sometimes, like, when you get older, your opinions about books that you liked when you were younger changes over time. But for me, it's like it stayed the same, but I know, like, for other books in general, I probably would rate differently, but like specifically for romance books that I've read, but I don't think it would change unless like 10 years in the future, I probably would change my mind, but like as of now, I don't think I would rate it differently. And the next question is, has your taste in romance evolved over the years? I would say yes, just because like when I was in high school, I had a different idea of romances. Like I always stick to like maybe the same trope or similar tropes, but I never like expanded my reading taste in romances until I got older, like out of college. Like I don't have to read books that were required to read in college, but I would say it has changed over time. But now I'm like trying to read as much romance as much as possible, because they do help me get out of reading slumps, like sometimes, but most of the time they do. So yeah, I say my reading taste in romance has changed over time. And the next question is, what is the most powerful romance that you've read that left a lasting impact? I honestly don't know. I would have to say like The Romance Book Club by Lyssa Kay Adams has left a lasting impact. Beach Read that I've read last year has a lasting impact for me as well, and same as The Dead Romantics. That's just because I like Ashley Pasta and she's one of my favorite authors, but it did last a lasting impact for me. And the next question is, what was the romance book that told you this is what I was looking for in my personal life and or partner. This is weird because I didn't read these books before I started dating my husband, Kevin, but there is a character particularly that really reminds me of my husband, which is Simon from Well Met. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so my husband just because he's patient and kind, and I just love Simon that much. I was like, yep, he's basically my husband in book form, so that sounded a bit weird, but I just love Simon so much. And the next question is, which romance book would you recommend to a romance newbie or seasoned romance reader? I would say, like, for someone who started reading romances with Nicholas Sparks books, I would recommend A Walk to Remember by Nicholas Sparks. Is my all-time favorite of his, and like my all-time favorite book of his, and I just love it, and it makes me cry every time. But other books, however, I have like a big stack of romances that I would recommend to newbies. Like I said, Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston, Beach Read by Emily Henry, The Bromance Book Club by Lyssa Kay Adams, and This Time Next Year by Sophie Cousins. So yeah, I would recommend these if they don't want to read any Nicholas Sparks books, but these are the top ones I would definitely recommend for anybody who's a seasonal romance reader or just want to get into romances. I definitely would recommend these. These are my top picks for that. And the last question is, in your eyes, what are the 3 perfect romances? Oh my gosh, I don't know what would be considered perfect romances. What the heck? I would say Dead Romantics, Beach Read, and I would say Bromance Book Club. So yeah, I would consider those 3 as perfect romances, but I'm pretty sure my answer would have changed like after filming this video, but those are the ones that I consider as perfect romances. But everybody has their own opinion, so I don't know what's considered perfect romances, but those are the ones that I could think of on top of my head. So that's all for the Romance Journey book tag. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and comment down below some romance books that are your top favorites that I should try. And if you haven't already, click the subscribe button and click the bell icon so we know when I post new videos. Oh my gosh. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button and click the bell icon so we know if I ever post new videos. Also, you can follow me on social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads, which all links will be down below for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!